Hare Krishna, Om Jnana Timirantasya, Jnananjana Shalakaya, Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam, Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsya, Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam, Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam, Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsya, Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamani. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarini. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, good evening to everybody. I hope this finds out in the best. Tomorrow I hear it's Shivratri. Tomorrow I hear is Shivaratri in Kerala. I think in Tamil Nadu it's on a different date. Is it Shivaratri tomorrow or the day after?
Tomorrow, Maharaj.
Tomorrow, Maharaj. Tomorrow, Maharaj.
Tomorrow. So we like to take the blessings of Lord Shiva, who is one of the Mahajanas, means great authorities on devotional service to Krishna today, because I won't meet you tomorrow. And I pray for blessings from Lord Shiva for your increased Krishna consciousness. And because he is such a wonderful, pure devotee of Krishna, he also is very easy to please. He's called Ashutosh, who gets easily pleased. So if you chant Hare Krishna in front of Lord Shiva, and if you dance, he becomes very happy with you, because his real interest is that you become a Krishna devotee. Om Tat Sat. We offer our prayers. Kshiram yata dadi dikhara visesha yogat sanjayate nahitata pratagasti heto yasam bhutam apitata samupaiti karyat govindamadi purusham tamaham vachami. Kshiram yata dadi dikhara visesha yogat. Kshira, milk, turns into yogurt, turns into curd. Kshiram yata dadi means curd. Vishesha yogat sanjayate nahi tata pratagasti heto yes sambhu. Sambhu means Lord Shiva. Sambhudam samupaiti karya. In the same way, the same Supreme Lord, just like milk becomes yogurt, he has become Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is known to be a greatly merciful person, especially to ghosts and goblins and bhutas and pretas and pishachas. He shows great mercy to them, and he has a whole lot of them following him. And he's just a transformation of the nature of God, of Krishna. This is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. So today we are dealing with demoniac and divine natures. I think it is very essential and important for us to take Lord Shiva's blessings. Because he gives shelter to
It's 8:30.
many such personalities. We have seen Ravana was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. And even Narakasura, Bhaumasura, all of them took the side of Shiva. But at the right time, when Krishna decided as Ramachandra to finish Ravana, it is not that Shiva could do anything much, because he also knew that Ravana has become an abominable person. In this way, although Lord Shiva was very merciful, these people did not take the proper advantage of Lord Shiva and achieve the favor of Krishna. But we can, since we know that Lord Shiva is a great devotee, if we appeal to Lord Shiva, since he is very easy to please, if we pray to Lord Shiva, we can very easily achieve also love for Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. So the last time, I think we finished the 15th chapter and we are set to get into the 16th chapter. Wow, we are going real fast. We have come to the 16th chapter and there's only 16, 17, 18, 3 more chapters to finish the Gita. Ooh, that's wonderful. Okay, so what's the title of the 16th chapter? What's the title of the 16th chapter? By the way,
Divine and demoniac natures.
oh really? Which nature you belong to?
And the demonic natures.
Which nature? I am sure all of you are divine quality. I have no doubt
Both.
about it.
Both
Really?
of them.
Oh, you're not showing the other side, that means to me. I don't think so. You are definitely a divine person. Otherwise, you won't be sitting in the Bhagavad Gita class with such great interest and desire. So this particular chapter is very amazing because Krishna is answering questions of Arjuna. Yeah, so in the 15th chapter, I'm just quickly going out through with it. In the 15th chapter, we discussed Urdhva Moolam Adashakam. I think you know that, material in the spiritual worlds. Krishna explained that to you. And then there was a discussion on changing bodies and how intelligent people can understand that. Only fools cannot see, but the practicing transcendentalists. Pashyanapi, Pashyati Namudo. That was mentioned. And Krishna explained that he is the maintainer of this material manifestation. And then he goes further to describe Kshara and Akshara, the infallible and the fallible, 2 types. And he describes himself as Kshara Sarva Bhutani Kutastam Akshara Uchyate. Uttama Purushastu Anyaha Paramatmeti Udakrataha. He explains how he is Purushottama because he's both beyond both the Kshara and the Akshara, a different variety. And then he says in the Vedas, in the Vedanta Sutra, that's why he is called the Purushottama. One who knows the secret, he knows everything. Now, we are coming into the 16th chapter, wherein, if you read the first shloka, Krishna is starting off explaining what are the Daivik qualities. He starts the chapter by explaining to Arjuna what is the Daivik quality. Who are those who are divine qualities? Right? So this is very interesting. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhir Jnana Yoga Vivastitihi Danam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayas Tapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodas Tyagah Shantirapaishunam Daya Bhuteshu Alolutvam Mardhavam Karir Achapalam Tejah Kshama Dhriti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Daivim Abhijhatasya Bharata. He is describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, such fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So each one of these qualities is explained by Prabhupada if you read the purport. Very detailed, and extremely useful. Right. For instance, I'll take the, if you go to towards the last, ahimsa. If you see the definition of ahimsa, ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. It's very different from what you think. Ahimsa, immediately you will think, is non-violence, we should not kill, we should not have war, everything. It's true, that's a direct meaning. But you will see that a technical thing is not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. One should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after the killing of the body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. People are now addicted to eating animals in spite of having an ample supply of grains, fruits, and milk. There is no necessity for animal killing. This injunction is for everyone. When there is no alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, when there is an ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to take advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Real ahimsa means not checking anyone's progressive life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal life to another. If a particular animal is killed, then its progress is checked. If an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is untimely killed, then he has to come back again to that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's palate. This is called ahimsa. How do you like that? So there's another meaning to it, which Prabhupada says in another portion of the Bhagavad Gita also. Ahimsa means spoiling another person's spiritual life. If your son decides to become a devotee of Krishna and you prevent it, and you say, don't be a devotee, then you are doing ahimsa, and then you're doing himsa. You're committing violence. Isn't it an amazing definition? Anybody who doesn't allow another person to progress in his spiritual life is being violent. Is being violent. So ahimsa means the opposite. I promote spiritual life. I give everybody a chance to perform spiritual life. I make it easy for them. I facilitate them. And if I am not very good at it, I at least facilitate them in some way. That is ahimsa. This is a very sophisticated definition you can see. So like this, you will see that many definitions here are interesting for us to read and know, and we will get to see a different type of understanding. Some instructions here are meant for sannyasis. If you see the first definitions, you will see sattva samshuddhi is mentioned here. Fearlessness is mentioned, abhayam. This is all meant for a sannyasi, because a sannyasi, samnyasa, he gives up everything and simply depends on Krishna. So he should not be afraid, where will I get my food tomorrow? Where will I get a place to sleep? Where will I get drinking water? Through the forest, if I go, will the animals eat me up? No, they just fearlessly go. Krishna is in control. He is Paramatma in my heart, and I can keep in touch with him. Whatever Krishna desires will happen. This is the attitude of a sannyasi. When Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada went to America with $7 in his pocket and boarded a cargo ship and landed in America where he knows nobody, he was fearless. He was fearless. And that was a real forest only. This is filled with, it's a zoo with all sorts of animals. All human beings are very animalistic. They're full of tamogun and rajogun. Right? So similarly, purification of one's existence. A sannyasi takes up those type of activities which will purify him. Which means that he will not waste his time doing things that don't give him a spiritual benefit. That's to be understood. He will not do anything that does not give him a spiritual benefit. He will always be trying to purify himself. He will always perform devotional service to Krishna and spend every moment in service to Krishna. That is the meaning of that. Okay. So next, coming to okay, you should read this because we have no time to read this. Each of these qualities are very nice to read and discuss. For instance, I like to read Shaucham towards the end, the last but one paragraph. Shaucham means cleanliness, not only in mind and body, but in one's dealings also. It is especially meant for the mercantile people who should not deal in the black market. Nati manita, not expecting honor, applies to the Shudras, the worker class, which are considered according to Vedic injunction to be the lowest of the four classes. They should not be puffed up with unnecessary prestige or honor and should remain in their own status. It is the duty of the Shudras to offer respect to the higher class for the upkeep of the social order. So, all these different qualities you will see naturally present in a divine person. They are a divine person's qualities. Sometimes you go to the astrologer, he will tell Daiva, Asura Ganam, Sura Ganam, and all that he will tell you. To some extent, that applies to that. You will see people are influenced by all these modes. And according to that, one can say to what extent a person is actually under the modes. It's possible for us to make that out. So, Krishna, after describing that is actually 1 to 3 shlokas, all the first lot of it. Then he immediately starts describing the demoniac people. In the 4th shloka, you'll see, Dambho dharpo abhimanascha krodha paryusham evacha ajnanam chabijatasya partha sampadam asurim. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. You see, Krishna starts describing a lot about the demoniac people. He describes his first verse about the Daivic people. And then immediately he starts describing a lot about the demoniac. And he's telling 2 types of things are the transcendental qualities, which I spoke to you, divine qualities, and the asuric qualities. Then he compares both of them in Shloka 5. Daivi sampaddi mokshaya nibandhaya suri mata ma shuchaha sampadim daivim abhijato si pandava. Immediately, I think Arjuna would be thinking, oh, am I a demon or am I this thing? Like all of you may also be thinking, wow, let's make out where do I fit in. Everybody thinks like that psychologically, because it's like some astrologer you go to, you want to immediately ask him, what about me? What about my future? What about that? So as soon as Krishna knows that Arjuna is quickly thinking, now that he has described all the divine qualities, and he's described, oh, am I also? So Krishna is consoling him, saying, Ma suchaha, don't fear Arjuna, you are actually born with divine qualities. He immediately tells him that, Ma suchaha sampadam daivim abhijato asi Pandava. Oh Pandava, and don't worry, you have got divine qualities only. And then he goes back to describe again, Dvau bhuta sargaloke asmin daiva asura evacha. Daivo vistarashah prokta asuram partha meshinu. Can you see my screen? Yes, Priya, can you please read that translation?
Yes, Maharaj. Thanks. O son of Pritha, in this world, there are 2 kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now, hear from me of the demoniac. Hare Krishna.
Right. So, 2 types of people are explained. Dvau bhuta sargaloke asmin. In this world, there are 2 kinds of created beings. One is Sura and Asura. One is divine and the other is demoniac. I've already told you at length about divine qualities. Now I'll tell you about demoniac. So Krishna goes in great length to describe this, and he gives a very graphic detail. And you will be very surprised that you will find many people that you know are these type of people, including our leaders and all these type of people who are leading society. And that's the interesting aspect of it. So in 7, he starts explaining from 7 onwards that two types of people are there. That is Daiva and Asura. So I've shown here that Deva and Asura. You see, Daivic people, they will give up attachment and pride. They'll accept a guru, spiritual master. They study the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavat and everything. They study the Veda. They do some tapasya. They will try to control their senses and their mind, and they will gain spiritual knowledge and go back to Krishna. This way they become qualified to go up this ladder that you see here. But those who are asuric will fall down from that platform of a human being because of attachment, pride, false ego, greed, ignorance, anger, lust, envy, all of these things together, they come tumbling down. So I'll explain it again for you. Thank you for reminding me. You see this ladder that's going up, acceptance of guru, study of the Veda, austerity, sense control, spiritual knowledge. This is the platform of a human being. From there you can go up or you can go down. Human life is very valuable. It depends on what type of company you keep, what is your association. According to that, you'll go up or down. Very dangerous. Most valuable human life. You can completely kill it and spoil the opportunity if you get the wrong association. Okay? Sometimes there are demonic people, they're in their DNA, it is there like that. Prabhupada explains there in a purport. He also explains that by nature, from the womb itself, they're like that. So it's always good to seek good association. Bhaja, sadhu samagamam, pada durjana tyaja durjana samsargam, bhadachaju samagamam. Tyaja durjana samsargam. Tyaja means to give up the association of durjana. Bhajasadu samagamam. Take the advantage and association of saintly people who will actually lift you up in life, okay, and help you to go upwards. They don't ask anything in return from you because they love humanity, they love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They want you to join up with God. That's all. They're not getting any commission, they're not getting extra wealth, they're not becoming famous because of that or anything. They do just selfless service. And that pleases the Lord, and they get closer to the Lord. That's all they are thinking of. But a person who is attached, it starts with attachment first. When you become attached to something material, you remember, dhyayato vishayan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama. When you meditate, dhyana, dhyayato vishaya, on an object of your enjoyment. Sangastesh bhajaya, by association with that particular object. It may be a beautiful woman for a man. It may be another handsome person for a woman. Or it may be a car that you like to possess. Or it may be a position that you want in society. Something, whatever it may be. And even for a small boy, it may be something else. I want to get a bike. I want to get a cycle. These all becomes objects of attachment. So, dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pujayate sangat sanjayate kama. By associating with that object, you start developing desires, kama. Then when you don't get your desire, kama krodho vijayate. It becomes anger and you want to possess it. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. You become bewildered. Sammohat, smriti vidbramaha. Then your intelligence is gone. Smriti bramshat, buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat, pranashyati. Then comes greed, lust, anger, everything, and you come tumbling down very soon. The last bit of this happens very fast. Many people destroy their life, the valuable human form of life. They tend to go the asuric way. You'll see a lot of people in society are like this. They're not educated in what is right, what is wrong. At the same time, even people in these situations, when they come across a devotee, they have association with him, they have changed completely and gone up the staircase. You can see in America, Prabhupada went and he changed all these asuric people who were very horrible. And by his association and by bringing them to Krishna consciousness, he showed that they can be changed. By chanting the holy name, by association with the devotee, eating prasadam, reading the Bhagavad Gita, and gradually performing bhakti and devotional service, they completely changed. Completely changed. So you will see that two types of people, and in the seventh shloka, you will see pravritim cha nivritim cha janana vidurasura na shaucham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Devaki, Sumukhi, please read this translation.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, am I audible, Maharaj?
Yeah.
Those who are demonic do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in. Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. So this is demoniac people. Pravritimcha nivritimcha janana vidurasura. What is to be done and what is not to be done, they don't know. Mostly they'll end up doing things which are not supposed to be done. They destroy the atmosphere. They pollute the waters. They pollute the air. They steal somebody else's property. They denude all the forests. They kill animals. They chase and torture animals. They will do all these things which are not meant to be done. And the result will be that we will have climate change, we will have that problem, this problem, and everything. So that is why Prabhupada many times you call it a demoniac civilization. They don't know sensitivities of high civilized living. They are just very low class in their thinking, afflicted by rajas and tamas, mainly. Na shaucham, they have no cleanliness. You'll be very amazed to know many people don't take bath regularly. You know, I was in the Gulf some time back, and there was a devotee from Andhra Pradesh working there, very nice gentleman. And he had invited me home for lunch, and I had gone there. And we were talking together, and then he was an engineer, very big time engineer, working in a big German company. And he told me that he was working with a Chinese man. We were just discussing. I said, oh, he's really Chinese. How is he? He said, he told him he's a very dirty fellow. I said, why? He said, for 1 week, he never takes out his shoes or his socks. He sleeps in the office only. He never goes home. Only weekends he goes home. He's such a workaholic. He works till late night, 1 o'clock. Goes to sleep in the morning. Practically doesn't take bath. He just washes his face, drinks some chai, comes back to this thing and works the whole week. In the weekend, he goes and takes bath. I said, how do you work with such people? He said, horrible. I can't do anything. So, na shaucham, no cleanliness. Of course, they'll keep on spraying perfumes everywhere and look very nice and all that to smell it. Actually, that is just hiding the very horrible stench that comes from them. So, na saucham, no cleanliness inside also or outside also. No cleanliness inside. They don't keep their body clean. And inside also their thoughts are all very lousy, influenced by passion, influenced by tamogun, all these type of thoughts. So this is how people live in this world. In Kali Yuga, you'll see a lot of people like that. Napicha acharo. Achar means proper behavior. You cannot fool. Na satyam teshu vidyate. You can't find any truth in them also. Many of these corporate people, many of the devotees who work there come and tell us, there'll be so much diplomacy in politics. You don't know who is speaking the truth. Mostly they are not speaking the truth, and whether it is the truth or not the truth, you can never make out. Most of you who are working with these corporate people, you know that. Everybody keeps smiling at each other and then stabbing each other on the back. It's such a culture. It's so horrible. I remember working even in my days in the projects. I was working, I had to face so much. I got frustrated only because of that. Nobody is straightforward. Nobody wants to speak the truth. Everybody is trying to climb the corporate ladder by appeasing their higher ups, speaking ill of somebody else, creating politics. And, that's how they live. There's no question of truthfulness in their life. No truthfulness, no proper behavior, no cleanliness, and never knowing what is right and what is wrong. These are qualities of demons. It's very amazing. You will see many people are like that in this world. Krishna goes against to say, Asatyam apratishtam te jagadahuranishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kim anyat kamahaitukam. Such wonderful verses. Krishna is very perfectly describing how people are in this world. We can actually see them like this. Krishna's Gandhi, would you read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna, Haribol Maharaj. They say that this world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Hare Krishna, thank you, Maharaj.
Right, thank you. Asatyam means it is not true. It's not real. Apratishtam, pratishtha means foundation. No foundation. Anishwaram. Ishwara means God. Anishwara means no God in control. Aparaspara sambhutam. Between contact with a man and a woman. Aparaspara sambhutam. Human beings are born. What's the necessity for any God or anything? What's there? One human being, other human being together, man and woman get together and produce a kid. That's creation. We do everything. What's the necessity for putting God factor inside? Everything is born out of lust. Kama haitukam, out of sex desire and creation. They have these amazing theories. Today also you will see all sorts of deadly theories they put up. Somebody was arguing with me the other day that very soon they'll find out a way of not dying. They are conquering the aging process. And he explained to me about the cells and about this and that and this and how that particular DNA or RNA that causes aging has been so many. I said, I mean, whatever you may do, you can have a body that is alive and kicking, but the soul will not be there, I told him. If you want, you can cultivate the tissues and all those things, and it may be living, the skin, the flesh, the bone separately. But if the soul is not there, they will not be put together at all. If it's time for the person to die, he will leave the body.
It's 9 o'clock.
You can keep the body and keep it alive with all the cells growing in it and the skin growing and this thing separately. But the guy will not be there in the body. What is the meaning of agelessness? You want only the body or the person? Whom are you trying to say you can save you from death? Death is not only in the body, right? You may artificially keep the body alive, but the person is left. That's what is called death. Death is when the person leaves the body, the soul leaves the body, and it's not under your control. Have you got a control as to when the soul leaves the body? Then I'll believe you. Then it's possible that agelessness is possible. Okay. As long as the soul is there in the body and as long there is consciousness spread, the body will live. That's a simple thing, period. Other things now that you may do, very physical, detailed things, if the soul has to leave the body, it will leave because it's under control of Maharaj. It's not under your control that you did some research. And you will see, but it's very difficult for them to believe that, because they're invested in the body as life, in the brain as consciousness, and all these theories that they have, right? So this is demoniac thinking. Asatyam apratishtamte jagadahu nanishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimmanyat kamai. It's when you actually do these things, listen and go close, you feel very, wow, it's possible like that. But sometimes when you sit back and think and read Bhagavad Gita, you'll see that foundational truth is taken away. But you're led into thinking that it is possible. Maya apahrita jnanam asurim bhavam ashita. Krishna explains that 4 types of people don't surrender to me. One of them is the asura. You know that? 4 types of dushkriti. Namam dushkritino mudaha prapadyante naradamaha maya apahrita jnanam asurim bhavam ashita. These fellows, their intelligence is stolen away. Their intelligence is stolen away. Many of these people who work in research teams are all like that. They are so closely working, and they go into such great detail into the microscope and into the cell and this, that, and they lose the greater reality. There is a saying, losing the forest through the trees. When you enter a forest, you become so absorbed in this tree, that tree, this tree, you forget that you're inside the whole forest. You forget that you're inside, you forget the larger reality. So many times people get lost and focused. They do a great job, no doubt. And because of that, there's medical science and that people are able to get cured of diseases and all that. It's all nice. But to extrapolate it to the level of thinking that one fine day, you will not die at all. That type of evidence is not available yet. So that's why it says that aparaspara sambhutam kimmanyat kama hetutam. They have sometimes theories that don't obviously seem to be good enough. So here you will see that Prabhupada is stating the duties of a person, because there's a discussion here. Oh, this is, I think, towards the first that I read. I'm sorry, I should have read this very first. Anyway, for a Kshatriya, a military man, shooting arrows at the enemy is considered transcendental. And refraining from such a duty is demoniac. Therefore, there was no cause for Arjuna to lament. Anyone who performs the regulative principles of the different orders of life is transcendentally situated. Yeah. So, because this is spoken to Arjuna on the battlefield, and Arjuna is being told, if you don't do your duty, you'll become a demon. If you refuse to do your duty as a soldier, that's when you will become a demon. But if you shoot, if you kill people on the other side who are against dharma, you are actually divine. This is very difficult for people to understand. In today's world, where wars are waged at the drop of a hat, whoever is right or wrong, you should not kill them. If you kill them, you are lousy. You are not a proper person. It's not that war should not be fought. War will be fought. A dharmic war, a religious war will be fought. And what is the meaning of religious war? That is fought by people who are dharma oriented, who follow dharma very well. And dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. They will definitely win the war and protect dharma because they stand out for dharma. They stand out for dharma. So these are religious wars. And it is not that killing should not be done. Sometimes people are so nasty. If you don't kill them, they will end up killing everybody else. So definitely you have to kill them. You have to protect the rest of the people. So that's why Kshatriyas are required. Kshatriyas are noble. They'll never unnecessarily kill anybody. They know when to kill, when not to kill. Very clearly they know. Very clearly they know. So they will not do ignoble things. They will always take great care before they decide to kill somebody. That's why they will say, this is the reason why you must be killed. They'll cite the scripture, they'll take the advice of the Brahmanas, and then they will kill. right? So in the Bhagavatam, there is a story of King Vena, who preceded Maharaj Prithu, after whom our earth planet is named Prithvi. So King Vena, he was so crazy. Right from his younger days, he was a very asuric person. Even his very young boy, when they were playing in school, he will take pleasure in its game to catch hold of a guy, beat him up and kill him. He will kill these boys, dump them into the dustbin, and he'll get so angry, he'll kill them, and then only he'll be happy. Very dangerous person, right from his young age. Unfortunately, because there was no other king, and he was in the kingly clan and the royal order, he became the king. Although everybody said this fellow is crazy. And then he became the king. And then they told him, of course, the Brahmanas and all the council of ministers told him that you have to be careful. You should not do the things that you normally do. He said, yes, 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 and assumed the position of a king. Then he did exactly what they expected, because he had it in his DNA, his blood. He was a demoniac person. He started killing people, stopping the Brahmanas from performing sacrifices. He did all sorts of crazy things. So the Brahmanas warned him once, twice, thrice, because all the military is under him and all the Kshatriyas will listen to him. It's something like Pakistan and some of these areas, the military takes over the regime and everything is under the military, something like that. So the Brahmana said, please don't make us do things which we don't want to do. You are the king and we should advise you, we should look after you, and I'm telling you, don't do these. These are all very sinful activities. You have to lead the people properly into Krishna consciousness and transcendence. You cannot be like this. He started abusing them also. So they got together and had a meeting. And they just chanted powerful mantras and offered Homa, and he fell down dead, this King Vena. This is very amazing. He just damang fell down. By mantras, they just killed him. They told him, don't think you're very strong and all that, you can do anything and threaten us. They went and chanted mantras in the right place, in the right time. They were so powerful Brahmanas that the king died. The king simply died. And then from his thighs, they churned and brought out King Prithu and his wife. And that's how they ruled. And it was a big golden age, because Prithu was actually incarnation of the Supreme Lord, a Shakti Avesh avatar. So this is mentioned that there are demoniac people and they'll do crazy things, and the dharmic people will get up and finish them. Because lots of innocent people are waiting to be led properly to God consciousness. They have to be protected. So Kshatriyas should protect, and they will not hesitate in killing, but they'll never kill improperly. They'll never kill improperly. So although it is mentioned here, Kshatriyas are like this, like that, it is not that anybody who kills is a demon. No, for a good purpose also, you should kill people who are demoniac. Because that's the way society can be preserved, and sociology that exists in the form of Varnashrama Dharma can be executed, and people can actually progress in their life properly. So Krishna goes ahead in the text 9 to say, Etam drishtim avashtabhya nashtatmano alpabuddhayah prabhavanti ugrakarmanaha shayaya jagato ahita. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Ugra karmana, note that word. Ugra karma means huge projects they take. Ugra. And those projects will create so many repercussions in society. They'll build a huge dam across the river somewhere. And you will find all the agricultural people, depending on the river, staying there, all will be disturbed. Their water supply will go. They will cut off all the trees. Because of cutting off all the trees, the sun will, shine too bright on them. and they will not be able to grow crops, they will not be able to do this. Many things will happen to them. But they'll just simply go ahead and do it. Especially the Western civilization, who brought in all this industrialization. They did industrialization at the expense of simple people's lives. So many natural settings were spoiled. And people ravaged the whole natural resource there. You know, there is a Vinoda Bhave, who actually started a movement called the Chipko movement. Hug the tree. When I was very young, it was very famous. So it happened that they had a big dam somewhere in the Dehradun, that Himalayan region. And all the ladies there, he inspired them, because the ladies were Himalayan ladies and very industrious, very hardworking. They were agriculturists and they grew all sorts of things and all that. So when the government came to take over the land and this thing and fell the trees, each one of them went, each lady went and hugged one tree and said, we will not allow you to cut this tree. You can cut me if you want to cut this tree. So they became so crazy. It's called Hug Me. Chipko Hug Me movement was such a powerful movement that the government had to give up the idea of putting the thing, because they are already doing this everywhere under so many under influence of the Britishers and the Western civilization and industrialization. They stopped it. They stopped it. So some places people are able to do that. And in some, mostly in these other places, they couldn't. And they created this Ugra Karmana. And now you have climate change, the temperature has increased. There are no trees, there's no flowers, there's no greenery. So the carbon dioxide level is going up, and so many things. So this is the meaning of Ugra Karmana. Some of these big projects we all work for in our life as a small somebody, some engineer there'll be 10,000 engineers, you are one person, you get a little salary, and you are contributing to that huge project, and you make the money, you go home, you get your children married, you become old, and then you watch the whole society, how it goes haywire, and then you also die one day. But huge amount of people are engaged in this Ugra Karma by our civilization. And Prabhupada is explaining that in the purport, you will see it if you read. And if you read further in 10, taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac thus illusioned are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. He goes ahead to describe demoniac nature. It will be very, very important that you should read these purports. You will see we live in a demoniac civilization. It's just that the demons don't look like, they don't have two canines protruding and two horns coming out of their head. They will all be having very slick, nicely shaved this thing, and they'll have coat, suit, boot, and they'll be coming out in big cars and stepping out of places and very sophisticated, neat, highly civilized they will look. But these are the real demons. The demons in Kali Yuga are all chota demons, many of them. They're not like Hiranyakashipu, they're not like Ravana and all that. Very huge, powerful demons. These people are all very small ones, small guys, small demons. Many of them, so many of them. Because the whole education is demoniac, it's without God in it. All sorts of companies and everywhere they work in, they get this type of desire and ambition and lust, greed and everything. And it's pumped into them. So actually society today is producing a lot of small demons. I have seen some of them without any feeling how they treat their family members, their parents. You know, many years back I heard that I go to Guruvayur often, we have a project there and some problems there. I, had to seek legal interference and all that. So I was told when I spoke to a lawyer and all that, he said, Swamiji, people like you are required here. I said, what? This is a beautiful, nice place. It's a holy dham. I am sure required here to teach Bhagavad Gita to you. He said, no. People, educated people, what they do nowadays, I said, I don't know. He said, young couples, husband and wife together, the wife has forced the husband to get rid of the parents who are staying, the husband's parents. The husband is not able to do it. But she gives an idea that let them go and stay in the old age home in Guruvayur. So she makes a plan. They bring to Guruvayur for darshan, they give prasadam and they laugh and they joke and all that. They leave the husband, and then the husband's parents are left there and these people go back home. I said, horrible. And they go back home and these people are wondering, where is my son? Where is my son? And the son never answers the phone or anything. And they hang around there. Finally, they get admitted into the old age home that is maintained by the Guruvayur Devaswami. There are so many couples like that, aged people there. Somebody came and left them there and went. Isn't it horrible? So crazy. Just because old people, I don't want my children to see the old people. This is a Western concept. In the Western world, people, when they become old, I don't want my children to see old people struggling in the bed and, passing stool in the bed and cleaning it up and all that. It cannot happen in my house. I don't want my children to see all these things. Let them go somewhere, drop them in the old age home. Just we have to pay some money. That's better. So they keep the parents in the old age home. It's become a very common thing now. Coimbatore is filled with so many old age homes. It's very special and very famous all over the world for old age homes. The son and the daughter is staying. Of course, they are not so bad like the ones that dropped in the Guruvayur temple and all that. They actually take a nice place and make sure that their parents are there. They have all facilities. They come once in a while and see them and all that. But the joint family system and I want my parents to stay with me. I want to look after my parents. I must be the person who will look after them. All that feeling and all is gone. I have a lot of money. What's the problem? You stay there, you stay in an AC bungalow, you say whatever you want. I'll hire somebody to look after you. There's no problem for you. All material facilities are given. But actually, the parents are hankering for the children's association. Somebody with affection and love hanging around. It's such a miserable old age they live. So these are all the tendencies of people in Kali Yuga. We pick up these demoniac tendencies very fast. And then we normalize it. Nothing wrong. What is there? What is there? Everybody's doing that. It becomes normal. To be rude and to be demoniac becomes a normal thing. Very dangerous society. The more you read this chapter, the more you'll understand that I have developed certain attitudes that are actually demoniac. It's because of my living in this society. And I've always felt a guilty feeling about it somewhere inside. But because of society telling me, it's okay, everybody's doing it, let's do it. I'm also doing it and normalizing it. I'm actually beating down my guilt. It's okay. And then you use a nice phrase for it. It's called euphemism. Just like for abortion, they will say, why are you worried so much about aborting the kid and all? It's just removing unwanted tissue. There's the meaning of a euphemistic statement. Making it very easy so that you get convinced mentally. It's not that your parents are not, you're giving them very good life, you're giving them good food and you're giving them care and there is somebody higher and all these things. But actually the parents don't want any of these things. They just want you to be with them. They don't mind living in a hut. But that alone you won't give them. And you will say, it's okay, it's normal. So society has changed a lot. These are type of attitudes creeping into us gradually, unbeknownst to us. We must be very careful. Like Prabhupada is speaking about eating meat. It's normalized very much now. Nobody thinks that as an animal, it's got children, it's got a family, it's got love and affection for the kids, nothing. They just say it's food. They just catch hold of it and chop its head off. Blood, gory stuff. They skin it up and they just don't have any feeling. But if the same thing happens to their child, they'll be screaming at the top of their voice. You know, this is what is the meaning of becoming insensitive to life. Insensitively being a human. These are all asuric qualities. We must try to always remain with divine qualities. We must not do these things which are pointed out here. Because the society is so crazy, it will convince you to do the worst things. To kill the child in the womb, to actually put your kith and kin and your best of people anywhere. Just if you have money, you can become very inhumane. And you normalize it. You think it's perfectly all right. So people live actually very bad lives. They don't know how to live. That's why they must read Bhagavad Gita. That's why leaders should read Bhagavad Gita. What is right, what is wrong, they should know. Kim karmeti, kim akarmeti, kavyopyatra mohita. What is to be done, what is not to be done. Even the most educated people get confused. So this is a very interesting chapter. And you'll find a lot of similarities in the world we live in today. In Kali Yuga, it's a world of demons. So you're all wonderful, divinely qualified people. Try as best as possible to stay away. You have to be very careful. They don't get psychologically, mesmerize you to do some of these things. Then you become sinful. Once you become sinful, you'll become weak. And once you become weaker and weaker, you go plummeting down that staircase. Okay? So please keep chanting Hare Krishna and divine qualities will manifest in you. Yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana sarve gunes tatra samasate suraha hara abhaktasya kuto mahad guna mano rathe nasati dhavato bahi. The Bhagavatam beautifully describes that one who is a devotee of Krishna, yasyasti bhaktir bhagvatya kinchana, of that Supreme Lord, sarver gunes tatra samasate sura. These divine qualities will automatically descend on him. Because the primary quality is devotion to Krishna. If you have devotion, these qualities will automatically come and sit on you. Harav abhaktasya kuto mahatguna. An abhakta means a non-devotee of Hari. What good quality can he have? Kuto mahatguna. Why? Mano rathen asati dhavato bahi. He is driven by the mind and thoughts coming to him influenced by Rajas and Tamas, and is driving madly the chariot of the mind. How can he have any good qualities? How can he have any good qualities? So think about it tonight. It's getting late, I know. Divine and demoniac natures and how we should be very careful and try to change society and the people around you by giving them divinity, by giving them a Bhagavad Gita, asking them to read it and help them to understand, make them chant Hare Krishna, and in this way contribute to making the world a better place to live in. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Any question or comment? All right. Haribol. Good night.